Friends, welcome. Eric Andres, your Guitar Sage here. Today we're going to be talking about the 5 pentatonic modes and why you need them. So just now here, I was just kind of noodling around through 5 pentatonic modes. I was throwing in a blue note in there as well to make it bluesy sounding, but nonetheless, these 5 forms are replete in all different genres, or I should say you can use them in all different genres: blues, rock, jazz, country, doesn't matter. And the pros do, okay? So now why is it that we need to have these 5 forms? Because you know me, I preach a lot of times of get to know one form and know it really well before you move on to another form. The reason being is that oftentimes people get into this mindset, especially with beginners, they get into this mindset that more is better. More scales, more guitars, etc., etc., etc. And in the beginning, that's not true at all, even with guitars. It's best to have one guitar, one simple thing that you do at first, because more is only going to confuse you. Just like a child riding a bike, training wheels, simple, very simple, or a tricycle. You want to get used to the calisthenics of it, the bits and pieces, so that you can later go to a bicycle with training wheels and then take the training wheels off, and then eventually you're on a motorcycle, and then eventually you're in the X Games doing flips and putting the bike behind your neck and stuff. But gradually we get there, right? So with that being said, I still stand by that. So when I tell you get one mode, get one form of this and do it, get really good at it, I still stand by that. That's how you're going to get used to your phrasing. Just like a child learning to speak, they're using very simple words at first, but they get by for several years just using those simple words, and then they graduate to bigger and more words as life goes on, and they need to use those words, but not before then, right? So in the same way, get really familiar with one form. Form 1, first one I'm going to show you here is the one I would suggest, and then moving into some other bits. What I'm going to show you in this video is why these different forms are helpful, and then for me, my kind of magic places, if you will, in each one of these forms, or how I use them, how I take advantage of them, okay? So let's go through these 5 forms first, very quickly. Mike's going to put these images on the screen for us one at a time. We're going to go through them, and then I'll connect them for you. So get ready to take a snapshot of the screen, and then you're going to have them available for you, okay? Get ready to snapshot on the screen. All right, here we go. Mike, can we look at the very first form here? This is in the open position, okay? So this is E minor pentatonic, E minor pentatonic. The red dot, is the key, okay? Now listen, if I'm playing this and I can just noodle through this, right? Notice whenever I come back to that 1, it's very harmonic. It sounds very good. Now this one, man, this is by far the most used form out of all 5 of these forms. So you can use so much of this. With all these forms, the top 3 strings are literally going to be the places that you live the majority of the time. Why is that? Because the bass and the rhythm guitar is playing lower, so as lead guitar players, we like for folks to hear what we're saying, so we go into those higher frequencies because they are going to sit out from the mix better. Sonically, there's science behind it, but essentially when you have one sound and you have another sound and they're on the same frequency, they mask each other. So that's why in an orchestra we've got the double basses all the way up to the piccolo flutes, and everywhere in between we have that breadth of dynamic range. And that's essentially what we're doing here with these scales, is we want to emphasize the higher notes. That said, you can use any one of these notes, okay? The numbers that you're looking at there are literally the numbers as they relate to the major scale. Even though this is a minor pentatonic scale, we always relate music theory, chordal harmony, intervals, scales, and that sort of thing. When we're talking about 1, 4, 5, all that, we're talking about those numbers as they relate to the major scale. In this case here, E major. Right? So the 1 there is the 1, the 3 is the flatted 3rd, the 4 is the 4, the 5 is the 5, and then the flat 7. Okay, and then we're continuing to do that going up. Now, this form right here, I'm going to bring it up further, actually. I'm going to bring it up. I tell you what, I'll leave it right where it's at. And I'll show you some of the bits that you can get a lot from it. Now, again, the most used form. A great exercise with this, learn your form first, and then doing an exercise like this. Let me use it without the music. Something like this. Some sort of sequence where you're repeating notes, going up, going up, going up, down, doesn't matter. I say it doesn't matter. You should learn both. You should do both, just so you can get familiar with it. This is where you hear licks like, or, those bluesy type of licks, right? That's where you're going to find a lot of those hanging out in that third and on those top 3 strings, but you can use any of these, okay? Mike, let's look at form 2. Now, form 2 is connected. And as far as the names, don't get caught up with that, friends. I would rather you relate these to the caged system, to the chords that they're related to, as opposed to calling them 1s and 2s and 3s and 4s, because that changes sometimes between one teacher and another. Okay, I call that form 1. That last one, I think other people might call it form 4. But I call it form 1 just because it's the one I use the most, the one most people use the most in the minor sound. Now this one is connected. They're all connected, by the way. It's the same 5 notes everywhere, right? So in this case here we had the first one. So where we're starting this now is the 2nd fret there. We're in 2nd position, and you can see that what I just played, the top 2 frets of the very first form are now the bottom 2 frets of our next form. Now, I don't use this form much except for the top 3 strings. And it's one of my favorite places to hang out, so check this out. You can use them all, good to know them all, great exercises, but I love this one because it's right here. And then I might go into this other form like that, but so that's what I use that form a lot for. You've got it there. Take a snapshot of it. Awesome. All right, there you go. Let's move to form 3, Mike. So now we're moving up to the 5th position here. We're starting off in the 5th position. You can play this a couple different ways. You could start this off with your 2nd finger and play it like this. And then shift for that one on the 2nd string. Or you could use fingers 1 and 3 and then shift. So like this. Shift. Oh, sorry. Shift. Shift again. And then on the way down, shift twice. I guess you don't have to shift there. Yeah, here you're shifting. And then shifting back. What I mean by shift is we're shifting between 4 and 5 positions. Or, again, playing it just in the 4th position and then shifting once. Now this one, again, I like this one. This to me is B.B. King territory, or the B.B. box territory. If you want to know more about that, search YourGuitarSage B.B. King or B.B. box, YourGuitarSage B.B. box, and I'll show you what I'm talking about there. But I use this one for licks like a lot of Jimmy Page stuff here, like this. Let's see. So I like that one because we've got that flat 5 in here if you wanted to blues it up a little bit. So in between the 5th and 7th fret there, that's not listed, is a flat 5. You know? This has a nice bend to it, this guy here too. Is that a 3 frets or 1.5 steps. I love that lick, and I love just any sort of taking advantage of that flat 3 there. Love that one. Also, even though this track, by the way, you can get a hold of this track here on YouTube. Search BB's Thrill. BB's Thrill is, I think, what we called it, okay? Or go to projamtracks.com. You can sign up there, all the good stuff. We're uploading lots of jam tracks every weekend right now, and we're going to continue to do it more and more because you guys are saying you love them. So even though the BB box won't work for this one because the BB box works for major blues, it's in there. But we won't go into that right now. But that's BB King territory right there in regards to major blues, playing major blues. So I showed you what I like in that territory there, and then you know. This one's nice. Right, I like that in there. Also, this quick little run up. That one right there is pretty cool. So, great. Thank you, Mike, for letting me know my time. And also, can we see the next form? All right, now this form, I like this form a lot too because I'm always thinking about where is that tonic? Where is that root note? In this case here, there's the E, again, denoted by the red. And so I use this one a ton. I use it similarly to how I did down here. With that, and always coming back to that 1 right there, okay? I don't use this low stuff too much. Lately here I've been going, I kind of don't like using my pinky there, which is a hybrid of the first one and the last one that I just did there. So if I'm noodling up in here a lot, then if I want to go down, throwing that blue note in there again. So that's what I use this form for. That right there, since we're in E minor, that's an E minor chord, and so it works really nicely. Anywhere we find any form that we use, we can resolve it obviously with those 1s, right? All right, Mike, let's bump up to the next one. And I use that, like I said, I use that one quite a bit. Now, this is the last one, okay? And I don't use this form very often. If I'm being honest, I just don't use it very often, at least pentatonically. Again, I'll use it, I can find some major blues notes underneath this, but we're not talking about that right now. So if I use this form, I'll usually use it in major blues, but the form that you're seeing there is more of a connector for me. I don't use it a ton. I just don't use it a ton. That's it. That being said, you could take a snapshot of that. You should be taking a snapshot of all of these, by the way. If you haven't, go back and take a snapshot of each one of them because they're yours, and you can do what you would like with them. I tell you, a great thing to do is go to these jam tracks. Start using them on these jam tracks. But I'll use this one as, I might use it to, I might use it as a connector, you know? hang out in these areas here, and this is more of a pass-through, so I envision it in my mind. I've played it enough. You can do the same. I wasn't born like that. I just practice it, right? Enough times to where you can connect them. You can do the same thing. So that one, I don't get a lot of mileage out of, but all the other 4, I definitely do. Now, if some of this is over your head, friends, I totally understand. The guitar is foreign. It's a new language to folks, right? So it definitely should be over your head. My Mandarin sucks because I don't practice it. So yours, guitar skills are learned just like anything else. So friends, I'm here to help you. Please let me know how I can do it. The very first link below will give you access to the Unstoppable Guitar System Standard. Absolutely free. The top 30-something lessons I teach all my students. If you were visiting me here in Nashville, it would be very, very expensive to go through that course with me. Otherwise, you can click the link and get it for free, plus all the PDFs and everything else. If you don't want to go through that, which is really just clicking the link, but if you're watching this on mobile and you would like me to do it for you, then text me. Text UGS. That stands for the Unstoppable Guitar System, to that number right there. If you're in UGS already, please let folks know. Say 30 if you've gone through the top 30 that I'm giving you here today for free. If you're in Pro, let folks know about Pro as well. Say Go Pro, so folks know that you're in there already. And hit me up when you're in there because I would like to talk to you, okay? Massive value in there, okay? Can't get to your questions live with this new format, but I'm on social and you can get in touch with me there. You can chat amongst yourselves in this chat, but here, if you want to get in touch with me via social, do that. Also, at the number I just gave you, just type in UGS there if you are already a UGS member, and we'll be texting buddies, and we can keep in touch that way. Friends, I'm here to help you. You know what to do. Like this video, if you would. Subscribe. Hit the notification bell. What other things could you do? You could leave a comment. You could share this with a friend. All sorts of really fun stuff. I'm here to help you. Let me know how I can do it. Leave your comments below and all that good stuff. Check out projamtracks.com where you can literally get that jam track and many others. Eventually, I'm uploading some to YouTube right now. Just search YourGuitarSage Jam Tracks. You're going to find some of these. And yeah, otherwise, projamtracks.com. I'm out of here, my friends. Love you. Thank you so much. See ya.